Andrew Yang on the podcast recently. He does bring some credibility to this movement of trying to go for a third party. Obviously, it has everything to do with an infrastructure that must be in place, ranked choice voting, open primaries, past the post, all those things that have to happen. But I just think a lot of people are just getting restless at this point, and it's going to be a question of, where are things going to go? Because you see how hostile things are getting out there. You've been on the road. You, of all people, know just how angry, desperate people are, and they are not going to take this ish anymore. They're just not. That you think that what just happened in Waukesha is the last time you're going to see a person literally say, I want to kill people and I don't care. I want to take as many as I can and I'll do it in a parade where people are happy. No, I want everyone to feel my pain. And that's something that a lot of other people, I just think there's going to be this breaking point. I feel like we're there. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And honestly, I don't really think, I think that the most dangerous place you could be politically is when a whole band of people are hopeless and feel like they don't have any leaders to follow. And I think that's where we are now, not just on the left, but in general. You have political violence increasing. You have one political party basically stoking that violence. I mean, we critically cover the Democrats, but I mean, between Gosar and Kevin McCarthy and Trump, Kyle Rittenhouse just went for a selfie after getting acquitted with Trump. I don't know if you saw that. So you have political violence being incited. You have, on one end, you have the Democratic Party basically doing nothing to give people hope, to give people relief. And when you don't give people hope, when you don't give people relief, it creates a vacuum for people to be radicalized. And then on the left, we went from the left being basically between 2011 and 2016. No, they're not being a left post-Occupy. No real activist groups, no organizing, to the Bernie revolution, reinvigorating the progressive left, bringing millions into the process, to then, after Bernie's second campaign, to basically the left becoming this cesspool of divide and conquer because of loudmouth YouTube hosts that just want to basically make people not nihilistic and basically make people think that the reason they're not getting healthcare or work 3 jobs is because of like Bernie or the squad. Like, it's just bizarre. But right now, there's basically no organized left. You do have activist groups doing local work on the community level. I've seen it. I've covered it. But as far as politicians, I mean, I think Bernie, the squad, I think they have squandered their base. I think they've squandered opportunities, because this whole negotiation, for example, where the infrastructure deal and the reconciliation deal, they could have from the start gone on offense. They could have said, you know what, we've already compromised. Biden ran on a $15 minimum wage. He moonwalked away from it. Biden ran on a public option. You don't hear anything about it. Biden ran on police reform. They basically moved away from that. So we can't compromise anymore. So here are our red lines. And then Bernie, the squad, plus whomever, hold rallies in West Virginia, hold rallies in Arizona, yes. Go on offense. You know why that would be good? The media would hate you, but who cares? It would activate a lot of this base right now that is hopeless and cynical and nihilistic, because people are just looking for that. They're looking to see the fight. Even if we lose, to see that there is an organized left with elected leaders fighting. They don't, they might not go as far as you'd like them to, but at least on offense, not this Ro Khanna style, diplomacy. Because all the interviews Ro did and Pramila Jayapal did and AOC did, I mean, they wouldn't even point out the donations that these people are taking in real time. They wouldn't just call them corrupt. They wouldn't say, this isn't moderate. It's not moderate to oppose policies that have 80% approval. That's undemocratic. It's not moderate. So I think, honestly, the left, I wish I could give people Christmas cheer, but I think the left is in a bad place right now. And it's not all about electoral politics. There is some hope when you look at these worker strikes, these union drives that I've been covering, workers quitting at record paces. So workers at different places, they're not waiting for politicians. They're just taking actions into their own hands. And I think that can energize other workers, other people. Maybe that could spring roll into more economic protests. But as far as the left as a movement, it's very fractured right now. And frankly, I got to tell you something. I mean, people need to decide what they want. Do they just want to be consumers of digital food fights for the next 3 years? Or do they want to come together? You don't have to agree on every little thing, but come together as a movement and fight. Because if you want to if you want to just consume a digital TMZ with this channel bashing this channel and this channel reacting to this channel's fight and this channel reacting to this channel's commentary and this channel doing hot takes on something Joe Rogan said, it just becomes this fucking mess. And sure, it's entertaining, but it's not productive. It's not productive.
Entertaining. It's entertaining for 5 minutes.
I don't like it at all.
And then after the 5 minutes is over, it's time to get serious. But there are people who are literally trying to build careers off of
nothing.
Commentary off of nothing. And at a time where things are so bad, something has to give. I mean, honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I actually do think if Bernie got serious and really did plan to run again in 24, I think he would win. And the reason I think that is because I think enough of the country has seen what a nationalistic, bordering on fascistic and elements of a Trump presidency can present, what a full-blown neoliberalism presidency that Biden's presents. This fear of, well, if we go with a more social, democratic, progressive type approach, maybe that might, cure some tensions. If anything, that's the pragmatic approach that we need. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Bernie, but I really think with the fact that the Democratic establishment has already shown their hand with Pete and maybe Kamala, that really is a miscalculation on their part, because it opens up a lane for the progressives to finally get their act together and say, well, you know what you're going to get, more hell if you stay down this path. If we decide that it's time to finally get ourselves serious, we could finally get somebody into a position of power.
Who would that be, though? Therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Which is why we're looking at President DeSantis in 24.
That, unfortunately, is...
I got news for you. I genuinely... At the end of the day, people need to remember Biden. I think he won between the states that he won by less than 80,000 votes.
Less.
Yeah.
Biden had to have every single thing break right for him.
Exactly.
Literally a president badly mangling a pandemic. If not for the pandemic, I mean, we'd be talking about the latest crazy shit twice elected President Trump is doing, right?
Yeah.
So Biden barely won. So when you remove that, and part of that small margin of victory was an increase in Black voters coming out in Atlanta, in Detroit, and in Milwaukee. So 3 states where Hillary Clinton did not perform as well among Black voters. You think these Black voters are going to come out after Biden and the Democrats did nothing on police reform? After Biden and the Democrats have done nothing on healthcare, nothing on education, gave them a $1,400 check?
I was going to say they lost. I think he lost as soon as he didn't give them their $2,000 check. And
Right.
That was what they campaigned on.
Right. And by the way, they're not, I mean, universal pre-K will help, but that's a singular policy. That's not Medicare for all. Let's put it that way. Like you could run for re-election on enacting a sweeping healthcare like Medicare for all, or a more visionary, game-changing policy that you as president enacted. He doesn't have anything like that. It's just a bunch of makeshift neoliberal policies. So yeah, I think if it's Pete, I think we're headed towards. I mean, Walker Bregman said he
I
feels
almost want to see that, though. I almost kind of do.
No, that's a privileged position. You can't.
I
just say
know.
yes.
I know. You're right. It is. But I mean, I want to see that loss on his face. Like I do. It would be very satisfying. But you're right.
You were saying about Walker?
No, Walker said he feels a creeping thing, like we're headed towards like the Reagan Revolution type Republican takeover, because there is no opposition party. And in that vacuum, you're going to have depressed turnout among Democratic voters, like we saw in 2016. And the right is revved up. All the right wing platforms, whether it's Fox, the politicians themselves, they're pressing all the right cultural buttons. They're pressing all the right, Biden the tyrant, the socialist, by these bullshit band-aids. So you have a galvanized right wing with energized voters. We just saw it in Virginia, even in New Jersey to a lesser extent. So unless something structurally changes, and that's another reason, real quick, if Bernie Sanders truly wants to save the country from another Trump-style authoritarian, whether it's Trump again or a mini Trump, then he's not doing the Democratic Party any favors by voting yes for another stripped down piece of rump roast. Because what that's going to do is hand Congress and the White House to the Republicans.
And the last thing I'll mention, if it isn't any more clear of why everything comes down to one simple variable, corporate special interest money or not, look at the fact that the Medicare expansion, which is really Bernie's championed policy in this bill, is only including hearing. And why is that? Because hearing is by far the least expensive or the least consequential of the three. Vision is infinitely more important, and dental is especially more important. And the reason you're not getting it is because big pharma and private insurance control Capitol Hill. And
Kirsten Sinema's a whore. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.